Oh man, look it's happening. I think we're live. Well, it's on the screen now. Here we go. Oh, I think I forgot to I'm not sure what's happening. The internet's doing the internet thing. Yeah, let's make some coffee. I'd like to try to get this thing sorted out so it just worked. Live. Please. Make it more live. Make it happen. Sorry, I'm over here tapping on the screen. Not getting anything done. Make it happen. No, that's close enough. Volume down. Check. Let me see if I can get this up on the TV. Great success? Yeah, whatever. Probably not a great success. But a success nonetheless. Did a little extra sleep today for some reason. I don't know why. Sometimes you just gotta sleep a little longer. I think it's just finally, it cooled back off again. It's been so hot and humid, man. Just like to the point of almost being brutally crazy. Like the humidity. I mean, I feel like I sound like I'm always just crying about shit, but like, it has been so hot and humid that like, if you go outside and you stand in one place for 10 minutes, you're going to be standing in like a pile of liquid dripping off you. I got to tear my watch apart because I have a screen protector on, and the sweat has gotten in between the screen protector and the screen. It's like being in the humid part of the world, I guess. I keep telling myself I'm gonna make a list of things to talk about because I often forget to talk about the things I was going to talk about before I start the stream. So this stream, I'm going to talk about a thing I was supposed to talk about last stream. So it's a little bit of old news, but still pretty cool. One of the guys that I play video games with, he runs with a group of dudes that do the player versus environment content, the 12-man dungeons, trials. And every time there's a new chapter, or whatever you call it, the new opportunity to give the company money and they give you more content, there's always a new trial and a new dungeon and everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's always the first group of 12 to, do it the hard way. I think it's called hard mode, no death, vet, whatever. Well, my buddy Facehead McGee and his crew, I think it's TSN, they set the world record on that. And I was supposed to give him a shout out last time, and I forgot to, so I'm giving him a shout out now. Him and his buddies. For North American Xbox server, set the world record for the first group of 12 to do that. And that's my pocket healer. He keeps me alive when I'm playing video games with him. When he shows up, he's always playing with those guys. Which I get, That group's a little sweatier. More serious. I just realized I don't have my griddle out. Oh God, what's the condition of the griddle? Oh, hopefully he's grabbing the griddle. What do we got here? Slightly dirty griddle. Well, we're gonna clean the griddle on here today. Oops. Whatever. These Rainier cherries are so good. I got the shout out done, which I forgot. Sorry about that. I'm just going to scrape this with. Spatulas are all dirty. Damn it, dude. Oops. How about I kick the tripod real quick? So I'm going to be doing some dishes here real quick while we're doing some live streaming. I think I figured out why I don't get very many views on my live streams. It's just me doing shit I should be doing off camera. Oh well. In 100 years, maybe people will watch this to see what it was like before whatever happened to society. I mean, whatever. I thought about putting a thing in the title, you know, the post-disaster presidential debate, but I don't think there's even a point to even talk about that anymore because, like, I don't want to get in trouble for elder abuse, so I'm not going to join in on the dogpiling of the elderly, at least in a public forum. Oh well. So here we go. The cleaning of the cast iron. Oh god. Normally I should say normally. I try not to do this on the stream because well, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, you know, most things in life that I do. I'm doing it wrong. Some sort of expert will chime in and let me know how there's a better way for me to perform the duty that I'm performing, which I always thought was interesting. I've never had anyone comment on one of my videos saying, hey, you're doing it wrong. Here's a link to a better way to do it. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure like 90% of the you're doing it wrong videos are you're doing it wrong comments are coming from people who have very little experience of doing what I'm doing and telling me I'm doing it wrong. They're theoretical keyboard warriors. Like maybe a person. We'll use the cast iron for example. Say I'm doing this wrong, and someone's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong. They'd be the kind of person that maybe is in the market for a cast iron, done a bunch of reading on cast iron, but doesn't actually have cast iron. It hasn't actually dealt with cast iron, maybe. I don't know. You're doing it wrong. But this is how I do it. I go with heat sterilization. And try to scrape the big chunks off. And what's the worst that could happen? If the worst happens, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's just put it that way. If the worst that could happen happens for me cleaning this cast iron wrong, I never have to clean cast iron ever again. See? It's like a win-win for everybody. Let's get another paper towel. I use a lot of paper towels. Okay. Okay. Power of steam. Don't want to take too much of that flavor off. Want to leave just the perfect amount of flavor on the cast iron. I think we're close. Let's give the old spin. Allow the heat to distribute evenly, because I have some cold spots on here that aren't having sizzling hot situation. Oh, I don't know what the temperature exactly is of all the bad things are gone, but you got to be getting close. And chicken, it's 165, right? Does that sound right? 165 for chicken, ground meat, 160. I don't know. All right, we'll turn that down. The temperatures are cooler, but they're not cold, so we don't need to heat the house anymore than we need to. Okay, I believe the coffee has reached its final form. At least with, apparently we're going with I'm positively bedeviled with meetings today, Mara Rose. I don't know why I have that coffee there. I just thought that was kind of funny. You fold the cheese in. All right, a spoon. Some sugar. I did put the sugar container in the dishwasher today for the first time, and just been sitting there waiting to go in the dishwasher for I don't know how long. For, well, however many pounds of sugar this is. For 4 pounds worth of sugar to go, so like 6 months or something. Every time I think about putting it in there, another dirty dish goes in its spot, and there's no room for it. The struggle is real. Should I smell that first? Oh, it's still fresh. Still fresh. All right. So what's going on this week? I mean, yeah. Yeah. So where I'm living, it's like Floodville, USA. Shit's crazy. I had a giant, like, ungodly amount of rainfall north of me. From what I can understand, record fall of rains for short periods, like 8 or 9 inches in a short period, plus multiple days of rains, like 15 inches or something over a few days. We had a train bridge collapse near me, which is just wild. Like a train bridge fell. I've had some big floods where I live, but we never had a train bridge go. Like a whole town near where I live in South Dakota, they just like, I can't even describe what they did. They like, I don't know, diverted the floodwaters, and then like just the town just got just like, well, sorry about your everything, with no warning. Like, I don't really know who's in charge of what. I don't really think anybody's really in charge, but like, the people you think in charge are definitely not in charge, because like there was no, whatever. I guess I don't know who it would be that you would be like, hey, I'm putting you in charge of letting us know that we're all going to be underwater. Give us more than 4 minutes heads up. But it kind of seems like there would be somebody that would be in charge of that. We're just in charge enough to know that it just happened. That's what they do. Like, hey, it just happened. Okay, well, we all have eyes. What is this? What do we have in our cantaloupe bowl here stuck to the glass? Some sort of a... Well, we're going to go with it went through the dishwasher, so it's going to be, whatever that is clean. Let's cut this cantaloupe up. Let's get in here. Probably need a trash container here. Someplace to put the old seeds and rinds and such. Hopefully this is a good one. Last one was a good one. Let's see what we get. It smells good. Cantaloupe. Try to get the good action footage. Well, the seed pocket's looking pretty juicy. That's encouraging. Out with the seeds. Get them all? The Magic 8 Ball says yes. This is the riveting part of the show. Okay. Now we slice boats. I'm trying to think of what can I talk about. Oh, so like, God, the internet. I posted the video, obviously, earlier in the week of me walking around a Tesla Cybertruck Foundation Edition. I believe the owner had the vehicle for approximately a month. Someone commented on my channel, old news, too late. I'm like, old news, too late. Okay. Well, so that was the first one I'd seen. Not sure how old that news could possibly be. Title didn't say world's first. I mean, just like, I always just shake my head, just think, what compels people? I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's probably still people who have like, this is just my speculation. There's probably people who are still waiting for their Cybertruck. They have like one on order. If I had to guess, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're still waiting on them. So like, you know, in the scheme of old news, I mean, I don't know if that's old news yet. Could be old news. You know, I digress though. Could be old news. I mean, cutting cantaloupe is probably old news. Someone has cut cantaloupe before. In fact, I've cut cantaloupe before, so that's old news. Oh man. I just shake my head. That's all I can do. Get out of here, that old news. Quit posting old news on your non-news channel. It's like old news. Okay. But this is funny. This is a true thing that's happening right now. I posted that video. I got contacted by we'll just say a manufacturer in China who is just absolutely impressed with my dedication to my videos about my electric car. And it sounds like they're wanting to send me a Tesla charger to do a review for them. And my answer was yes, definitely send me a Tesla charger or an electric vehicle charger. Please, definitely send me one of those. I will be happy to do a review. Now, I'm not totally sure if I'm going to be able to review that plugged into anything since I don't own an electric car. I never said I own an electric car. But, you know, for sure, if you want to send me a couple $100 worth of electric car charging stuff, I can make that video for you. I'll definitely do an unboxing video. That will not be a problem. It's kind of funny. I mean, I assume if you owned a Tesla that you wouldn't touch a Chinese car charger with a 25-foot pole. Potentially, actually, I don't know if that's true or not. You may be so overextended that you actually want to try to afford a Chinese charger, possibly. I always have to remember that the world doesn't work the way I work the world, so I could definitely see a person spending far too much of their disposable income on a vehicle and then not having the money to buy the charger potentially. So maybe an affordably priced Chinese branded charger would be a good thing. We'll see. I just responded with, yeah, I'd be happy to. I didn't even give him, you get these weird messages sometimes of people trying to, I got one the other day. They were like, I put a video up years ago of a card shuffling machine that I found at like the 50-cent store. That was back when I wasn't really able to make any good content because of a medical condition I was having. So I had to like change my channel to doing like just like unboxing videos and like just stupid reviews of like shit that I bought at a discount 50-cent store, just to try to keep viewership up so my channel didn't collapse. Oh, hey, Jeremy. But one of the things was a card shuffling thing. Like, whatever, got it, opened it up, showed it. That was the end of it. But like that became a very popular video for some reason. I mean, it must be people wanting to figure out how to like either change the batteries or like got the thing but don't have the instructions. I don't know, whatever. But that's a very popular video, like thousands and thousands of views. Well, I got contacted by a Chinese company just recently. It was like, oh, hey, we noticed that you're into card shuffling machines, which I'm not, just that was in the 50-cent bin that day. I wasn't looking for a card shuffling machine. It was just like, oh, there's a thing worth more than 50 cents. I'm going to buy that, unbox it, and, try to keep the channel going. Anyways. So they're like, oh, we got this brand new card shuffling machine. It's a pretty cool card machine, like, that's neat. Like, I need a card machine like I need kicked in the head because I know how to shuffle cards, But whatever. I guess if you want to send me a card machine and you want me to do an unboxing video, that's fine. Well, what they wanted me to do was to buy a card machine from them at a discount. And it's just like, am I just getting, is this guy trying to sell me something? Like, dude, I'm not interested. What was another crazy one I had recently? Company contacted me and wanted to have me do a video of a security camera that's hidden in a fire alarm. I was thinking, that's kind of different, You want to send me one of those? I'll look at it. Well, they were like, well, here's the thing. We want you to order it from Amazon, and then we're going to reimburse you for the price. And I'm thinking, well, I was born on a day, but I wasn't born yesterday. Like, why in the holy hell do you think I would... Not even sure. No. Not even sure, don't even know. I guess if you contact me and you say, hey, you want to try something out, here, buy it. You can just, might as well just save your time. There's no reason to type that to me, because I'm not going to buy your shit. Not going to happen. That cantaloupe's pretty good, actually. This might be the juice making portion of the show. Coffee's good. We're gonna hand blend some coffee today, kids. Coffee, juice. What's wrong with me? Got the old mixer in. Yep. Check. Check for any it looks clean enough. I went through the dishwasher. Tighten the bottom so the bottom doesn't fall completely. What's happening right now? Oh yeah, that'll grind your fingers off. All right, let's reposition the camera for the action here. All right, what do we got? We got 100% juice. Might be a name brand. Don't know if it's a cranberry raspberry flavored juice blend with added ingredients. It's frozen concentrate. keep frozen. Whatever. Apparently when I buy my juice, I don't drink the red juices as fast as I drink all the other colored juices because I have a bunch of like cranberries and red juices for some reason. I'm not even really sure why, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Ooh, we're frozen. We got an iceberg at the entrance here. Out. Get in your new home. There it goes. Agua. I'm gonna do 2 of these and give it the old blendy blend. And then we'll see if we can spill it all over the counter. One, 2, We'll get the third one up on deck here. It's almost a half gallon of water just down the drain, kids. Oh man, I'm trying to think what else is good. Obviously got traffic stories. God almighty, the traffic. I don't understand what's happening to the world. And it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it through whatever it is I got to make it through. But I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to be like in the future. I mean, I'm not even being like sarcastic. It's like, say I live a long, fruitful, long life. Fantastic. What's going to happen? Ooh, I missed the trash throw on that. I mean the recycling. I mean the trash. Like how they're just gonna have to outlaw people from doing stuff? Like people are so shit at driving right now. What's driving gonna be like in? People talking like lifetime scales, like in 50 years. Well, here's the thing: in 1,000 years, it's gonna be 1,000 years from now. It's gonna happen. I mean, 1,000 years is gonna go by. I promise you, it is. It's gonna time just keeps going. Even if the old Earth would, somehow fly out of its orbit and shoot off into someplace else, 1,000 years is still going by. But it's just like, how are they going to do it? Like, I watched a person try to pull into a left turn lane, and they couldn't make it in because they thought they were going to hit the car that was in the straight lane. But there was literally 3 to 4 feet between their right fender and the car in the straight lane. But they were afraid they were going to hit them. So they couldn't pull into the turn lane, which means they couldn't make it to the green turn arrow in time so I could get through it. So once they finally decided they could make it, and the person that was in the straight lane was kind of like, what's wrong with this person? I guess I'll pull forward a little bit, or they pull forward to make like 5 feet of room. We pull up, the green arrow stops, turns into just a green light, which is a general. You can proceed when the intersection's clear. And this person just pulls up to an open intersection. No one, like the next car coming at us is clear up the hill. Like there was enough room for them to make it, for me to make it, for the car behind me to make it, for the car behind me to make it, and even probably if we all got our shit together, the car behind that could have made it. Instead, this guy just sits there. Or this individual, I should say. I don't know who they were. Just sits there. Just parks. I'm like, how much drugs? Like, you're not supposed to drive when you're on drugs, man. Like, do drugs, stay home. Don't drive around on drugs. That's the only thing that can make sense. They had to be so fucking high on drugs. So, like, I just sit there and it's like, well, there's still time. So I give the old, like, dude, like, hey, dude, if you just take your foot off the brake and just go, we can make it. because that car that's all the way up the hill is only halfway down the hill. Now there's still room. There's still enough room for you to go and me to go. Car behind me ain't going to make it, but I can get through. Give them just the one toot. They kind of panic. They kind of freeze up some more. They kind of pull ahead a second. And then like, they stop again, and then they think about it, and then like all of a sudden at the last second they're like, fuck it, I'm going for it. And then they go, but they've waited so long, even after the honk, that the car's in the intersection now. And I'm like, my God, they're going to get they're going to get hit head on because I honk at them. Well, luckily for this individual, the person that was going to hit him head on was going to turn. So they ended up turning, but they had to like stop because this guy's like, he like, and then. It's like, what? Oh, God. And I'm not exaggerating the, oh, I spilled, see? I'm not exaggerating like the conditions of the intersection or anything. It's just like, it was so much room. There was miles. Like, I could have put my truck in park, got out of my truck, walked across the intersection, helped an old lady, came back, got in my truck, and there still would have been enough time. I don't really know what's going on. And I got some ideas, but I'm not going to talk about it on the internet. But I think there's people that are suffering some medical conditions that are it's just going to get worse. We're going to start seeing more crazy shit of just people that just don't know what's going on around them. Just baffled people. People are just going to be baffled. Just like, what's happening? Ah! Whatever. In the meantime, I'm going to cook some bacon. Oh, how am I? I'm good. How are you? Trying to think what else is there to talk about in the old scheme of things. At least things that are acceptable to be talked about on a breakfast live stream. There's a lot of stuff I could talk about, but I'm not going to. There are lots of things happening. Well, one of the more interesting things that happened this week, and it's a kind of a political thing, but it's just interesting, is they overruled the Chevron case. Anybody pay attention to that? Having to do with like government agencies just making shit up. It's just like, whoa, I don't know if people realize how big that is. Like that is crazy. Like that Supreme Court ruling has the chance to literally change almost everything in regards to how government agencies do anything. Like the potential to change the way life is done in the United States is so wild. Because I think it's one of them deals that's going to have, I guess consequences, but like there's going to be stuff that comes from that that's not quite maybe apparent, which I think is probably maybe leaning towards a good thing, but it's pretty interesting. Any plans for the 4th of July? Oh, I always do something on the 4th of July. Have a picnic, celebrate America, shoot some fireworks. I think it's like a weird day of the week this year, isn't it? It's like in the middle of the week. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, 4th of July is pretty fun. I mean, well, here I'll tell some truth about the 4th of July. Where I live, the 4th of July used to be a lot more fun. Because where I live, the 4th of July, in my state, you couldn't shoot fireworks off. They were illegal. You had to go to a sanctioned firework event. But the state just a few minutes away from where I live, fireworks were legal and they would be for sale right on the border. So every year we would cross the border, buy legal fireworks, and then illegally bring them back into my state, and then we would shoot them off in total disregard for that fucking garbage law. It was the best. And it wasn't just me. Everybody did that shit. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. Lots and lots of people did that. Well, then they changed the law. And now fireworks are legal in my state. And well, every goddamn person and their dog is shooting fireworks off, which makes it no fun, because it's goddamn crazy. It's like World War IV, hellfire incoming, take cover everywhere. I mean, nothing ruins the fun like making it so everybody who's not scared to get in trouble. Because for me, if I would get caught with illegal fireworks, I would laugh at the police officer, take my ticket, and I would pay the ticket and move on my life. But yeah, growing up my whole entire life, they were illegal. And I'm pretty sure ever since I was old enough to like safely light a firecracker under the supervision of the people that I was around, I've shot fireworks off almost every single year of my life. Like I even went and stood in line. I stood in line to buy fireworks during like the world pandemic part of the life on Earth. Because me and all the other people were like, fuck it, we want fireworks. We all just went and stood in line to buy fireworks. We all just kind of looked around at each other and was like, I guess if we all catch a pandemic and die, at least we got to shoot some fucking fireworks off first. So yeah, I don't even have to, like, I'm pretty sure there's fireworks for sale, shit, 4 blocks from my house right now. There's probably a big circus tent with fireworks for sale. Yeah, we used to go to back roads because like there was always stories of the cops like trying to like illegally pull over people and search their cars and shit. Like one year there was like a story of the cops were sitting in the parking lots writing down license numbers of people that were in the parking lot, making the assumption that you'd made a purchase, and then under that assumption they were pulling people. Actually, I think they got in trouble for it because you know there's no crime involved in parking in the parking lot. And then they're pulling people over, assuming that they had broken the law, violating their what would be the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizures. Well, I think they got in trouble for that. I think they. Yeah, I mean, I'll shoot some fireworks. I always got fireworks laying around someplace. It'll be interesting this year because, like. Well, I mean, the price of everything has gotten so goddamn crazy that I don't know how much extra income people have for like, just shooting fireworks off. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm totally well aware that there are people who have positions in life where it doesn't matter what the cost of fireworks is, they're going to be shooting fireworks off. I get that. But then there's a lot more people who are in positions of life of, well, we got to buy food and pay the insurance and the mortgage and the rent and the whatever and the car loan. And it's like, well, I guess we're just not going to have fireworks. And I'm assuming there's a lot more of them type of people than there are of I don't give a shit what it costs, I'm doing it. And thank God for those kind of people. But I assume fireworks shooting will be down this year. Because I assume, like last year, I assumed they would be down. It was down a little bit, but like, there were still people who probably shouldn't have been buying fireworks last year, right? But they had the attitude of, I don't give a shit. You know, we'll just put them on the credit card. Because we're going to have fun. It's the 4th of July. But the reality is, You can't just keep putting everything on the credit card. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was last year. Was like the people who probably shouldn't be buying fireworks still bought them anyways. Whether you're like, I assume there's a lot of keeping up with the neighbors. You're like, oh well, we don't want the neighbors to think we can't afford fireworks, even though we can't afford fireworks. Or oh, I can afford fireworks. It's like, well, really? Are you sure? Like, and then some people just don't give a shit. I mean, I guess that's something. If I ever became like a wealthy person, you know, like buy a yacht wealthy, I'd be the firework guy. Oh, we're gonna have rain in the area. Oh, that's fun. Well, you don't have to worry about your house burning down if the fucking rain's here. Make a 4th of July. I will make a video of me shooting firework off. Sure, why not? I found some the other day, some spinners. I'm trying to think what I like to shoot. I mean, I really like to shoot artillery shells, but I mean, I don't know. Fireworks is a weird thing. I always feel like fireworks is a deal where it's like you get all excited to do it, then you go do it, and then you shoot them off, and it's like, oh fuck. Now it's over. Like the breaking the law part used to make it like a little bit more fun. It was a little more, you know, there's a little more exciting. Oh come on, Bacon, why are you curling up on me? No! Stop curling! I don't understand you. Stay down. No curls. That piece of bacon must have came from the tail of the pig. It's curled. Just kidding. Bacon comes from the belly. I guess fireworks is like a good example of how like probably what everyone should do is they should take young people to a fireworks stand very early in their life. And they should give them some money to spend. Because I always felt like fireworks is a great example of how buying something that's not very expensive can add up to something very expensive very fast. I always felt that about fireworks. Oh, it's like $3.99. Oh, well, we could grab a couple of those. Only $3.99. This one's a little bigger. It's $8 or it's $7.99 or whatever they do. Grab a few of those. The next thing you know, you're $100. It's like, whoa, $100? It was only $3.99. There was something magical about fireworks too. That it's like, it always felt like that's how it works. And I realize it works that way with everything, but like, you get so hyped up in the moment. You're just like, yeah, fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. And the other thing that's weird about fireworks is it's like a thing that someone's responsible for, but yet, I guess it depends on what your definition of getting your money's worth. Is lighting the firework the fun part, and that's what you're paying for? And that's what you're getting? Or is watching the firework the thing? And then are you going to do your fireworks in a private location so no one can see? So they don't have to like, well, these are my fireworks. These are for me to see. Obviously not. So like you're shooting them off for the benefit of everyone to enjoy. But yet one person's normally paying the nut on. When is the 4th of July fireworks video coming? Well, if it's going to be a real 4th of July fireworks video, I can't film that until about the 4th of July. So that'd be about 4 days, I think. I think we're getting towards the end of the month. I can make a fake 4th of July video and pretend. The old, here's a video that wasn't filmed on the 4th of July. I mean, it ain't going to be amazing. Like, I'm trying to think what I have. Like, I got some spinners and some Like I went through a box. I don't even know if they'll light. They're ancient. I just found them in a box the other day. I was like, what are these? Oh, fireworks? Like, oh wow, some old ass fireworks. I got bottle rockets. I like to take a bunch of bottle rockets, stick them in like an old beer bottle, and then use a benzene torch and light them all at once. I shoot 12 at a time. I love doing that. I'm trying to think, like, I think it was like the year before fireworks became allowed in my state. And I'm not gonna name any names. I'm just gonna tell the story real loosely because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. But I had a buddy come into town who lives in my state but doesn't live in my city. And he had one of his kids with him. I guess I could say he had his son with him. It is the funniest shit ever. They're like, let's go to Elv's house and shoot some fireworks off. And he's like, they stopped by. I was like, hey, dude, we bought a bunch of fireworks and we were down south or whatever. You want to shoot them off? And like, you always have to like, well, they are illegal. But I'm like, fuck yeah, let's shoot some fireworks off. And his son, I guess the reason they couldn't shoot him off at home is because where he lived was in like, what I would say like a nice part of the city that he lived in, like I guess the part where all the Karens would live, maybe. So, like, you really couldn't shoot fireworks off because they were not on the border. Like, it wasn't like... It would have been obvious if you were shooting fireworks off in his neighborhood. So, like, it was just not... You couldn't do it. And his son's like... He's like, I knew we could shoot him off here. Elveshelves isn't a little bitch. I fucking laughed so goddamn hard. This kid wasn't very, very old either, but he was just like... He's not a little bitch. I knew we could shoot him off at his house. And I just like, I about fucking died laughing. This little kid, like, he's like in grade school. And I was like, dude, if your old man will let you, I don't give a shit. Like, gave him the once over, like, don't put your head over the fireworks. Gave him the safety brief. And I let the kid shoot off. I don't give a shit. I had my buddy come up from like Missouri, his daughters were up here. Like, give them the safety lesson and let them shoot them off. Like, there's one way to learn. Like, if you don't think your kid's able to listen to, like, don't put your head over the firework when you light it, then you probably ought to just step in and not let your kid shoot the firework off. But I don't give a shit. And that's the funnest shit ever. I'm trying to think, like, one of my personal favorite is when you go to light a firework, you sneak up behind them and you clap your hands like that real quick. And you watch people just freak out. Oh, I love that so much. That is by far one of my favorite things to do on the planet Earth. Oh, fireworks. I got so many great fireworks stories. When I was in my 20s, I ran with a group of people on a regular basis. We used to hang out, party, have fun together. And one of the girls that was dating one of my buddies, her parents, they had a nice house. I think he was like a chiropractor or something. They had a nice house on a hill where the backyard just went down a hill. It wasn't a cliff, it was just a hill. So it was like a one-story house with a walkout basement and like a backyard, and it went down a couple terraces, and then way down at the bottom they had a swimming pool, an in-ground swimming pool. So like when you were down at the pool and you were up they had a deck that was on the first floor that went out over the walkout basement. So like the pool in relationship to the deck was like a few stories down, like 3 stories down, 4 stories down. Because you were already 1 story up from the walkout, and then the hill went down. So on occasion, they would have the party at their house for 4th of July, and they would shoot fireworks off down by the pool. So when the fireworks went up, they would explode like almost at eye level, a little higher than eye level, but like, because they were way down there. It was cool, really cool. We were there one year shooting, like, I wasn't shooting the fireworks off. I was up on the porch. I was on the deck watching the fireworks. And they set an artillery shell, which is like the big tube and you drop the big round thing with the big wick. this artillery shell went up, and it was like, it went haywire. And it was like, I mean, I was on the deck. And from my vantage point, it looked like a laser-guided artillery missile shell that someone had painted the deck with the laser marker. Because this artillery shell came out of the tube and just beeline straight. It's like, zoom, right onto the deck. Like, instantly on the deck. And then it exploded on the deck. With a radius, like the bloom of this thing would have been, it's an artillery shell, so 30, 40 feet. Like, it was huge. But, like, we're just sitting there. They light it. This thing starts fucking, it's like, because, like, it's clear down there, so it wasn't instantaneous. Like, you just saw it coming. Oh, my God, dude. People diving. I got into the kitchen. Like, oh, it was crazy. And then it exploded. And everyone that was still on the deck, they're flat. Everybody's, like, laid out. You're just like, and then, like, there was, like, a pause of, like, you could kind of hear the crickets chirp for, like, maybe, like, 2 chirp. And then, like, because we just been drinking all day. Then everybody just stands up, just like, woo! It was the craziest shit. Like, standing inside of an artillery shell when it went off, an artillery style firework. It was just like, what the hell just happened? That was, like, one of the craziest things ever. And it wasn't like nobody, like, there wasn't like, hey, we're going to aim it up there. The firework just went, it just went sideways when it launched, but we were so high in the air, it just, like, if it was a normal situation, you were standing on, like, in a football field, the firework would have gone above the spectators' heads. And that would have been like, ooh, that one came at us, but, like, because we were standing up in the, yeah. That was before the drone videos of people flying drones inside fireworks displays. That was pre-stand inside with the drone. Do golf courses. I probably would say that golf courses would not allow private fireworks, but like in my town, the local country club would get a permit. So, like, before the fireworks became legal, you could apply for a permit, which was normally only for, like, large scale situations, like, if they had a parade or something, the city could get a permit and shoot fireworks off. Or if there was a concert, like, they used to do that. We had a big concert up the hill for me, and they used to get a permit every year and just do the most craziest, like, the guy that put the concert on, he'd spend way too much money on fireworks, and then he'd set them up, have them set up so they went off, like, almost all at once. It wouldn't last 15 minutes. It would just be, like, this really short, crazy amount of fireworks all at once. It was like, what the hell? And they would shoot those off on top of a water tower at the top of the hill, and so it would just be all above you. Yeah, it was wild. I'm trying to think one of the stupidest things I ever did. This was kind of recently, actually. Yeah, this was like not that long ago. As a full-grown adult, I should have known better. But for some reason, this particular 4th of July, I mean, it's probably been 10 years now. I'm getting old. When we went to the fireworks stand, there was a new style of firework that they're really pushing because they bought a bunch of them. They were called lanterns. And what these were like paper hot air balloons about the size of maybe a basketball, and then suspended inside them on like a bunch of weird strings was like a piece of wood soaked in tar, essentially. And you'd light this thing, and it would just make a small flame, and then it would make hot air. It would fill the paper lantern, and then it would just float away. And it was like, cool, man, those are cool. Let's get some of those. Like, got some of those. Well, the day of the 4th of July, it was a little breezy. And it was like, whatever. You're not always thinking clearly on the 4th of July because of whatever reasons. And we're like, let's light one of those lanterns. And we're like, yeah, that'll be cool. Let's light one. And I'm not even exaggerating. We get the lantern out. I light the thing. The little paper balloon fills up. I let go of it, and it's about a foot out of my hand. And I think to myself, Well, that's a bad idea because it's like this flaming stick of wood goes and just leaves in the wind. And it's just gone. It's like, I just like firebombed the neighborhood. Like, oh my God, what did I just do? Yep, that happened. Luckily, the place that we were lighting our fireworks was like very on the edge of rural, and I believed it flew off into a cornfield, but like, I could see that just burning somebody's house down because it's just a flaming, it was just like a tar-laden block of wood that just floated until it didn't, or it got knocked down or whatever. It was just like, yee. Maybe they even had a thing on the news about those that year. It was like, don't do these things, that's a bad idea, but like, yeah, true story. I mean, there's probably worse things you could do in life. But I found, I mean, even at my house, even when fireworks were illegal, I've gone up onto my roof after the 4th of July and found neighbors' fireworks on my roof. So, well, that's not cool. That's why it's always nice if there's a little rain in the forecast on or about. Kind of keep some of the houses from getting lit up. I can't remember why, like, in my state, fireworks were illegal because, like, somebody did something stupid with, like, something that wasn't a firework, I think, if I remember right. And it lit something on fire, and I think somebody died. But I don't think they were using firework. It was, like, either a highly improvised firework or like just some crazy shit that like no human being would normally do. Like, oh, here's a quarter stick of dynamite. Let's see if it works on the 4th of July. Let's light this off. And then like they burned something down and somebody died. And they're like, oh, those are illegal. We can't do fireworks anymore. And then like all the regular people are like, but the dude that did what he did wasn't shooting fireworks off. And they're like, we don't care. We're not having that. It's like, all right, well, I guess we're not having that. Nothing I can do about that. Then after enough years of like people being like, have you been to a border city? It doesn't look like they're illegal to me. I think what it really was people from the middle of the state like occasionally would visit the borders. And it dawned on them how much fireworks shooting there was actually going on. And they were just like butthurt that they couldn't shoot fireworks off. So I've kind of dialed back my fireworks shooting over the years because there's plenty to see now. Although I do love shooting fireworks. What's really fun is shooting bottle rockets into a lake. Because they'll keep going and then they'll explode under the water. I love Roman candles too. I love holding a Roman candle in my hand and shooting it. Now I'm not going to say I shoot them at people, but like, don't do that, kids. Follow the instructions on the package and do the fireworks exactly like they say. That's the only way to shoot fireworks. Safety first. If you do fireworks any other way, you're just looking for trouble. I'm trying to think what another fun one is. You take an old soup can, you poke a hole in the top the size of like just a regular like firecracker, and you get like a pan of water, like a 1/2 inch of water or whatever. Put the can open side down, put the firecracker in the hole in the top, light it, and the can will just shoot into the sky because of the explosion creates pressure and the water is doesn't hold it very good. That's really fun. We used to do a lot of that. Extreme good times. I like shooting snakes too. Snakes are fun. Not shooting actual snakes, but like firing off snakes. You know what I'm saying? Snakes. You light them and they just like grow. I think it's because like, so, sorry, I'm doing this spatula, that's kind of dirty. What was legal in my state was sparklers and snakes. Which is kind of crazy because like sparklers are really, like, you want to burn something down, throw a sparkler at something that'll light on fire. I remember one year, my brothers were up. We went to my buddy's house that lived down the street from my folks. And my nephew was with me, and he was still a pretty young guy. Oops, somebody just pulled up. Why did my driveway alarm just go off? Huh. Give me 1 second here. Watch that egg. Fuck around my yard. Oh, I don't see anybody out there. I don't see anybody. I guess if they're here, they can come in and have an egg. Anyways, we're at my buddy's house, and like, my buddy's kids were about the same age as my brother's kids. Like, the kids were doing sparklers, like, they were young. Obviously old enough to walk and like be a person, but like still pretty young. And we're just doing sparklers, and kids do sparkler things. Like, one of the fun things you do is you spin the sparkler, right? Like, ooh, I'm spinning sparklers. I don't even know who it was, but someone was spinning a sparkler. And what a sparkler is like a thin metal rod, and it's got the shit on the outside coating it that like sparkles. They're like, whoosh. Well, someone was spinning a sparkler, and a chunk of that like broke loose, and like just goes flying at my nephew's face. Like it's like gonna go in his eyeball, like coming right at his face. So like I'm standing there, so I just take one hand and just like palm his face to cover his face, and like swat the sparkler chunk out of the air with my bare hand. Just like, whoa, that was fucking nuts. Like, he about got face sparkled. He probably didn't even remember that. But yeah, if I hadn't done that, he would have taken a full sparkler to the face. Big chunk too. That was crazy. Oh, the good old days. I think. I mean, they used to sell firecrackers that were big enough to blow your fingers off. And then they had a bunch of people blow their fingers off, so they kind of stopped doing that. They call them M80s, I think. But I've done some dumb stuff with firecrackers before. Like, you stand there and light firecrackers and throw them. I've had to blow up my fingers before. I had one like not that long ago do it. It was just like lead firecracker, go to throw it, and the wick was, I just call it a fast wick. Because what we do is like you hold it, light it, throw it. Light it, throw it. I've done it my whole life. I had one, lit it, threw it. It was like that, and it went off. It was like, my fingers just, I was just like, what the fuck? It was crazy. It's like my fingers opened at an extraordinarily high rate. Faster than my fingers have ever opened on their own, ever. I didn't get hurt. It didn't hurt me. It was just like, it freaked me out a little bit because I was like, whoa, that wick went super fast. I'm trying to think, like 1 year, when I was a young adult. I don't know why I did it. I guess it's what you do when you're around fireworks, but like, making some toast. When you're around fireworks, there's nothing to do. You're kind of looking around for like, what else can we light off? And like that year, there was like, someone had bought like a big thing of, a big block of firecrackers, and the way they do them is they lace the firecracker wicks together to make a brick, and you can either light the whole brick or you can unlace it. And somebody had unlaced one, so there was like like a really big, what I would call a wick. Just like a wick. It was just a giant wick. And it was like, oh, we could burn that. So I get the wick and I light the wick and throw the wick just because that's what we were doing, just burn shit. And the wick kind of, and then it stopped. It was like, what? And I walked over and I picked the wick up like this to look at it. There was no firecracker. I was just the wick. It had gone, it stopped, and I was holding it, and the little red ember got back to where there was like gunpowder, not gunpowder, whatever firecrackers are going off with, and it relit the wick, and it went, and it burned right through my fingers, and it burned the living shit. It burned right through my fingers. I was holding it. God, that hurt so bad. I burned myself so bad on that. It's like, brutal. Ooh, that looks good. Extra crispy. More than that. That's really not need butter. We might not need butter. We got bacon grease. The old classic bacon grease can be the lube for the toast. Yeah, getting burned's no fun. No fun. I'm trying to think the worst I ever burned myself. Oh man, that was stupid. When I was real small, I was on a trip with my grandparents, and my grandfather had a vehicle that had ashtrays in the back seat and the doors each door had its own cigarette lighter. Back when you would push a cigarette lighter into, and when I say cigarette lighter, it's like what you could plug your phone charger into in your car, that 12 volts, that round thing. Those used to be called cigarette lighters. You'd push the thing in, and it would like make a resistance, and then you could light a cigarette. For reasons I don't understand, when I was small, I decided that I would explore this thing. What is this thing? Pushed it in, stayed in. After a few minutes, it popped up. I was like, what? It popped up. I pulled the thing out of the little round thing it was in. Looked at it. It is bright orange now. And I was like, what? Bright orange? That's crazy. So I put my finger in there, and I fucking burned the living shit out of my finger. That's a true story. And it was around the time, a little bit after the movie E.T. came out. So that was the running joke, that I was E.T. And then they wrapped my finger. They put ointment on it and then wrapped it up in a piece of toilet paper and put a piece of tape on it. So for the whole weekend, I had like a big toilet paper wrapped on it in my finger. I'd burned the tip of my finger with a cigarette lighter. That's a true story. I don't think you probably can't even get that anymore. For a while, it was in every car, standard. And then they changed it to, it was called a smoking package, where with the smoking package, they'd give you an ashtray, and then they'd give you the little pop-up lighter. Because if you didn't smoke, it was just a coin tray, and then an auxiliary power port. But yeah, forever cars came with ashtrays in them. And that's what you stuck your shit in. Put the ashtray down, throw your coins in. Take the cigarette lighter out, throw it in the glove box, plug your, what would you plug in first? Your CD, your portable CD player would plug in there, or your radar detector. Or your FM broadcaster. That was pretty popular for a while. You made these little things that you get your portable CD player, and you plug this thing into the port, and then it would broadcast a signal in a short distance, and you could pick it up on your radio. All the young people today don't know how good they have it. Like, you used to not be able to carry everything with you in your pocket. It used to be you got the A side, the B side of a cassette tape, and that's all you got. Or you had to carry 2 cassettes. Or you got a CD player. Then you had to switch the CDs around a lot. Or if you're really balling, you got a CD changer. And you could change the CDs. Put the changer in the trunk. It's so crazy to think about. What's this say? A CB radio, yeah. CB radio, that was a big thing. Way back in, like, I'd have been like, well, CB would have been like 60s, 70s, and 80s. Something like that. That was real big for a while. Everybody had CB. Because like when CB came out, there wasn't CB. Like it's so bizarre to think about. Like it went from there was no way to communicate with other vehicles, and all of a sudden they came up with CB. And then it's like, whoa, you could talk to other people, and like you could warn them where the cops are and stuff. Like, I mean, everything's changed so much now. But like back in the day, I even remember this happening. So, CB was a big deal. All the truckers ran CBs. And then you could also have a CB in your car. And like when I was growing up, we had CBs in our cars. And then when you travel, you'd have the CB on. You can listen to the truckers would give warnings for like speed traps and stuff. Plus, you could call for help if you needed help or whatever. We never had to call. So at one point, the way it started to work was like the police used radios too. And the way they made their radios communicate back to whatever, home base, is they'd use basically a series of repeaters. So like inside the back of every police car in the trunk, they had a repeater. So like that cop's radio would go to his trunk, and then it would broadcast out, and then it would go to the closest cop car around. He would collect the signal and rebroadcast it out. So my old man, well, we won't say my old man, a person I know bought a device called a bear tracker. After they reduced the speed limit to 55, oh, that's right. Yep. Because everyone was still speeding. This guy I know bought a bear tracker. What the bear tracker did, because like the police didn't use the CB spectrum, they used a different spectrum. But this bear tracker would allow you to hear the police talk. It acted like it I don't think it actually repeated, but it would pick up the talk as it was being repeated between the vehicles back to home base or whatever. So you could like, I mean, honestly, you could do some nefarious shit with that thing probably because you could hear the cops talking about you if you're on whatever. But we weren't breaking the law. But I remember going past a big car wreck on the interstate when we were traveling, and literally seeing the police officer grab to his collar where his radio thing was, click the button and start talking as we were right next to him and we could hear what he was saying in our car. What was that kind of cool? And then shortly thereafter, they encrypted all the shit and it became useless. Like I used to have an app on my phone. I got paid for it. It was a police scanner app. I mean, you could I distinctly remember when I had my first smartphone, I could be sitting on my couch, hear the sirens going off, like, woo, woo. I could get my phone out, hit the police scanner app, and I could hear what was going on. Is there a gunman in the neighborhood? Is it what's happening? As a citizen, I can prepare myself. Well, the police were, the bad guys are listening to us, and they're going to get us, for police safety. So they allowed the police to somehow not have you listen to them. So I don't even understand it, but I always thought it was weird that we had to worry more about the safety of the police than we needed to worry about the safety of the citizens. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have much choice to be a citizen. You're kind of default citizen, but you do have a choice to be a police officer. They haven't started the police officer draft. I don't want anybody to be unsafe, but I would like, as a citizen, when I hear sirens and I hear crazy shit going down, I would like to know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a thing I wouldn't not want to know. But they don't allow citizens to hear. At least last I heard. Now I know there was some fighting on that. I'm sure the police got their way because, they protect the people that make the rules, so they get the rules they want. So that's another crazy one. It's like, we're talking about the speed limit change. It's so hard to wrap your head around shit like that if you weren't there for it. I remember hearing stories of people talking about that at the time. How there were so many people who were just like, I ain't listening to that shit. It's like a bygone era. But I also, so like I wasn't around for, or at least not that I remember very much. I'm pretty sure it was before me. That was nationwide. It was during the oil crisis. Yeah, see, I don't know what's happened. Cause like I used to have it was called Police Scanner 911 or whatever, and you would just go in. It would be every police department in the United States. You could like pull their, you just subscribe to it, and then you could get it. Then all of a sudden, it would just stop working. Like in my region, I could listen to the fire department, the EMTs, and they all have their separate thing. I'm not an expert. The way I remember it, though, like, we're gonna have the Elveshelves version of reality here. At some point, the frequencies got shifted up. Like, if you remember growing up, we had television that was over-the-air television, and it used certain frequencies, VHF and UHF. Well, we switched over to digital television, and that freed up that spectrum, and they gave that spectrum to the emergency services, and when they did that, it changed everything. I remember it was a big stink because there was like, I'll have to check it out. Well, there was a big stink when they first did it because the news, they were like, hey man, we have a First Amendment protected right to do our job as a news reporter. This was their argument. And as the news reporter, we need to know when the news is happening. And part of the news is police activity, whether it's a crime or whatever. And they're like, when they shut it down, because it was shut down, like no one had access to it. And then for a while, we'll give special permits, right? That's what they were going to do for a little bit. They were going to give permits. Because like the news people freaked out, like, dude, we got to have access to this. It's in the Constitution. You can't stop us from doing the news. So then it was like, we'll give special permits. And then it was like, well, you can't line item specialize who it does and who doesn't get a media permit because the media or the news isn't, the news isn't a corporation, right? If I want to record the news, I can be a news reporter and I can record the news. A citizen can be a member of the press. But I never heard how it ended up. I just know my app doesn't work anymore. So maybe like the city's allowing, yeah, it must be on the city website, but it was a big deal for a while. And I know there was going to be lawsuits and shit. Because like, it's kind of like right up there with like traffic cameras. Well, you know, it might be against the law, but think of the good. It's just like, well, but it's against the law. Well, but think of the good. And then eventually something does or doesn't happen. It's like, okay, whatever. It's just more madness. But for that little bit that I had that app, you know, well, just the other day. Just the other day, I was sitting in the house, doing my own business at night, you know, getting ready for bed. Out of nowhere, I just hear all this racket. Screeching tires, all sorts of crazy shit. Next thing I know, I hear shouting. And I'm starting to have like strobes in my windows, like strobe lights happening. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, get up, look outside. Across the creek and towards the university by my house, I think a high-speed pursuit ended. And like every goddamn cop in the tri-state area was there. I don't know if they shot the dude or what. I have no idea. It was so nuts. They ended up having like fire department show up and everything. It was like cops everywhere. And as a citizen, you know, it's like, well, this is in my neighborhood. Not quite in my yard, but like, sure would like to know what the hell's going on. You know, do I need to lock and load? Do I need to duck and cover? Like, what's happening right now? And they'd be like, nope, you don't need to know, sir. Go away is what they would say. Like, do I want to go down there and get involved? No, not really. Hey, you looking at my cabinets? All right. Well, another successful breakfast brought to you by. Well, I forgot to set up the ad, so I don't know if it was brought to you by anybody. Brought to you by me. Anywho's, yeah, I don't know, whatever. 4th of July week, have fun, be safe, try to get something accomplished. Thanks for tuning in if you caught it live. I'm glad you were here. If you didn't catch it live, you missed out on the live, but apparently if you're listening to this, you caught it on the re-upload, which is almost as good. I know people gotta do what they gotta do, so. Peace! I'll see you next time. Stay safe.